And you and recently we have discussed about photography as a tool, and we have discussed the photography and its timeline and its history. And I we have watched some documentary film as well. But in today's class, we'll look at photography and its implications. So, what is photography? What is photography?
The capturing of real into real.
Capturing of real into real. Very interesting. Yeah. But if I have to say that photography is an art or science, so maybe I can say that photography is the science, art, and practice of creating durable images by recording light or other electromagnetic radiation. Can be either chemically by means of light sensitive material, जो आपने अपनी हिस्ट्री वाली फिल्म में भी देखा होगा, by means of light sensitive material such as photographic film, or electronically by means of image sensor in today's era when we are talking about digital photography, right? Um, so photography literally means drawing with light or writing with light or light writing. The word photography is made of two words. Photo means light and graphy stands for graphic, which means writing or drawing. So once man learned to capture an image with the help of a camera, the process started being called as photography. So we can say that photography is therefore all around us. You all see numerous photographic images every day, and many of these photographs can be advertised products, services, lifestyle, ideologies. And photography is employed in many fields, uh, be it science, manufacturing, business, as well as art, recreational purposes, and of course, mass communication. So we use photography is not only a field in itself, it is a very integrated and important part of all the other forms as well. You talk about science, you talk about art, you talk about any kind of media, you talk about business. You cannot escape photography. Photography is a well established medium for preserving family and cultural histories as well. You all have your childhood photographs. We all like to see photographs of friends, family, relatives, celebrities, etc. But this was not possible for a very long time. It might be very normal and natural to you, but it was not possible for a long time. And it was left to the artists to draw our images. I have this image with me, you can see here. For example, something like this. Artists used to sit there and used to make the portraits, right? And but this was also a very tiring and time-consuming process, and not everybody could afford it. Only kings and other important people got their pictures made by artists. Just imagine what excitement photography must have caused when it was invented. People could now see an exact copy of a scene or a person in front of them. From such times to now, photography has come a very long way. It is both a recreation and it is also profession. We are used to seeing photos being taken all around us. So it's a very important and integral part of our daily life as well. So I have another photograph of painting. So it was a tiring way. To now, when we have photograph, it has changed the way we look at the world. So the Ansel Adams once said, he's Ansel Adams, he once said that a great photograph is one that fully expresses what one feels in the deepest sense about what is being photographed. Photographs are amazing, isn't it? And through photographs, we preserve history. our child's first steps, a decaying landscape, or rare and endangered animals. We use photographs to recall the first steps on the moon, the inauguration of new building, the lifting of a flag, or maybe some photographs of war which we have never experienced, but we could imagine that how the actual location looked like. So photographs actually evoke the essence of places we have never been to, and maybe places we have been to, and we do not want to forget it. So we capture those moments with us and bring it back to us. So photograph is a result of photographer's decision that it is worth recording, that this particular event or this particular object has been seen. I have seen this. If everything that existed were continuously being photographed, every photograph would become meaningless. But a photograph which which conveys a message, a photograph which tells a story or which records the event has some meaning. You cannot just keep clicking photographs of your room. When you're sitting inside your room, many times you have clicked photographs within your rooms as well when there's access, easy access on your mobile phones. But you don't randomly just go on clicking the tube light, the fan, the switchboard, or maybe the table. Whenever you click such things, there is a meaning or a story behind it. You want to convey something out of it. I never click photograph of a window next to me. But I do click a photograph of this window and there's rain, it's raining outside. I can see some birds coming into my windows. So photographs become through making choices, and great photographs become through making right choices. Right choices are the direct result of the knowledge of the photographer. Superior photographs come from photographers who know how his or her camera functions. A skilled photographer takes the time to read the manual and familiarize with everything that camera can do. So if you have a camera and you go straight away to click the photographs, then you might not be able to explore the tool in your hand the way you can. We can always see photographs around us, like behind the bus, on the signboards, on the wall, in newspapers, magazines, pamphlets. Photos in newspapers and magazines inform us about an event or an incident. You must have seen several photographs. For example, if I pick up this photograph from a newspaper, what is this? This is a photograph of Uttarakhand disaster, tsunami in newspapers. So these days, what I mean to say by showing this photograph, that these days pictures are as important to news as the written or printed word. In fact, in a country like ours, where still many people cannot read or write, photos have a great use and great impact. Photographs are seen along with the written news in magazines and newspapers, and they add on to the impact of the news and convince us about the truth of the event we are reading about. And a photographer is someone who communicates emotions with intelligence and spring from imagination. Photographers can see multiple perspectives at once. If you are at a location, you can see several things happening. See several things happening, and I'll share one story, photo story with you on the migrant laborers during this COVID-19 era. It doesn't have article, it doesn't have any written matter, it only has photographs. And these photographs are very skillfully taken by the photographers, and they do not need to write a story along with it to narrate the situation. A photographer is a professional that focuses on the art of taking photographs with a digital or film camera. Photographers use artificial and a natural light to snap pictures of various people, places, and things in a variety of settings. Some photographers focus on studio work, and then there are other kind of photographers who only take the camera out and explore the nature outside world. There are a variety of photography niche that can that one can choose from and be able to uniquely showcase their artistic ability with. A professional photographer who works full time often does studio work that involves taking pictures in a controlled interior setting with professional or amateur models. These photographers can be freelance or can also be kept or retained by a certain magazines and fashion companies. So what happens? You as a freelancer go out, click photographs, you develop it in your lab or on your computer using Photoshop, etc. And then you sell these photographs to magazines and photo companies, to newspapers, wherever needed. Other forms of professional full-time photography involve taking stills for motion pictures, taking pictures for crime scenes in cooperation with local and federal law enforcement agencies, and taking pictures for digital and print newspapers, photojournalists. Though often newspapers will work with photographers on a freelance basis rather than hiring them on a full-time basis. So usually the photographers are freelance photographers. So these photographers are responsible for the digital or physical development of their pictures and may also be responsible for small or heavy editing of their pictures. So this is what they do. So then there are different categories of these photographers as well. Uh, and these categories are based on the subject, the kind of subjects these photographers click their photographs of. Some photographers explore subjects typical of paintings, such as landscape, still life, portraits. Other photographers specialize in subjects unique to photography, such as street photography, documentary photography, fashion photography, wedding photography, war photography, photojournalism, aviation photography, commercial photography. So there are subcategories of photography there. Okay. After this, I want to. You must have seen when you were talking about when we were discussing about history of photography, that how it has developed. So today I just give you a brief, very brief difference between a film photography and a digital photography. What is this? What is there on your screen? What do we call it?
Negative.
Yes, this is a negative. So photography has actually two important components. One is the camera, and other is the film. I'm talking about a film photography format. So camera and a film. A film is sensitive to light. This is a film, negative film. So, and this film was initially was sensitive to light. So when we expose it to a scene with the click of a button, the expression of light is left on the film. You can see the expression, you can see the image there, right? This film is then processed in the laboratory and we see the picture that we have taken. This kind of image on the negative only comes after we process it in the lab. For a long time, photography was just black and white. And, and this was so as the film could not record color. It was much later that color films were made. Um, I think I have some photographs of laboratory as well. So this is a dark room, and in these dark rooms, the negatives were processed, and later these negatives uh, were used to make a positive as in the hard copy of photograph which you used to have. And even these positives were developed in a dark room. The paper is on which these positives were made were also given a chemical wash because they are also light sensitive. They are given a chemical wash, thus creating the final picture. So you see that from taking the picture to the final print, there are many stages involved. Since the negative film acquires an image with the help of light, it is called an optical process. Optical process. You can see that in this photograph on your screen, that this is called the dark room, but the dark room has red light. Why there is red light in the dark room? The red light is there because the paper on which the positives will be made, which is also sensitive to light, is does not react to red light. अगर रेड लाइट के अलावा किसी और कलर की लाइट होगी तो वो पेपर जो है वो लाइट के कांटेक्ट में आते ही एक्सपोज हो जाएगा और ब्लैक हो जाएगा. पर क्योंकि वो रेड लाइट में किया जा रहा है, इसलिए रेड लाइट उस पेपर की जो सेंसिटिविटी है टुवर्ड्स लाइट उसको उसको चैलेंज नहीं करती है, वो रिएक्ट नहीं करता है रेड लाइट से. देयरफॉर डार्क रूम्स के अंदर सिर्फ रेड लाइट का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. ये हम फिल्म फोटोग्राफी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. बट nowadays we have moved on to digital photography. So now we will also discuss that how digital photography is a little different from film photography. So nowadays, as I said, a new technology has arrived in photography, and it is called digital photography. Some of you and your friends may possess a digital camera, or maybe on your mobile, the camera in your mobile phone is again a kind of a digital camera. The camera which you see in your mobile phones is a smaller version of a digital camera, but nowadays even these cameras are very good. They have amazing pixels. Soon it seems that the film camera may stop being made as a digital camera is making photography cheap and easy to handle. So there are two important factors that make digital photography very useful. One is that the picture taken can be seen on a screen behind the camera immediately. And the second reason is that digital photography does not require any film. Therefore, there is no need to go to the lab and wait to get the film processed. The camera records the image taken on a memory chip that is inside it. And once the chip is filled with the photos, these photos can be copied onto a computer to reuse the camera by making fresh space for taking many photographs. You all must have used it. The ability of the camera to link itself to the computer makes it easy to print the picture and to send pictures to any part of the world through the internet. So we can say that, yeah. So not only this, the computer allows the photographs that has been taken to be improved and cleaned with the help of number of software programs that are available. So you can see that the future of photography is going to be digital. So let us see the differences between the film and the digital camera. So we can say that film camera records image on a chemically sensitive film to make a picture negative, whereas the digital camera records the photo as a digital signal that is stored on a chip. Film camera has to be processed into a optical negative, and digital image can be instantly seen on the camera. No processing is required. And so there are no negatives, right? And uh, pictures from the film camera uh, needs to be printed in the lab, and photos from digital camera can be copied on the computer and printed as well. Film cameras are usually bigger, and but they can work without batteries. They do not need batteries. But your digital camera is more smaller, and they always need batteries. And pictures from a film camera have to be physically sent, and this can take time. And photography from a digital camera can easily be sent through computers by email. So it has made a lot of difference. It has made a lot of difference. So, and digital photography is there to stay. It's not going to change. And what we say is film camera it has its own charm. It has its own history, but now it is slowly going to disappear and will become history. And digital camera is there to stay, and it is doing amazing work. Ever since the first photograph was developed in 1826, photography has stunned the whole world, and there has always been a need and want to capture moments in time, images. However, the education and equipments were not accessible to the masses. But with the amount of money, time, and effort needed to expose and produce an image properly, photography became and still remains a highly sought out profession. Photography has documented the past for our future, putting a name to a face, the pretty and ugly face of our history. Naturally, everyone wanted to capture their own history, wanting to snap a few frames of their own. हमारा first birthday, हमारी वो trip, हमारे बच्चे का birthday. We all want to capture these moments, and so photography is one thing which has made all this possible. With time, production, and product costs were cut so much, so most people could afford their own camera. And with that, the playing field was evened out, and everyone became a photographer now. Now, professional photographers need to step up their game. They need to prove to the average photographer the worth of their profession. Although the tools and industry are forever changing, the idea is not. A perfect example would be our first image taken from the surface of the moon. We love photographs because they take our imagination to an image of reality. So, in the end, I only want to say that photography became a great tool for scientific research, documented newly discovered species, a tool of document evidence of different fields. It was able to capture the moments from wedding to birth to everything. It is a journey from pinhole camera to digital camera, and it is still evolving. Cameras and photography have become a hobby and passion for many people who enjoy capturing something to remember and creating something extraordinary out of the everyday. But most of all, people love photography for the ability to retain information of the world around them. It is a beautiful form of art. We need to excel it, we need to admire it, and we need to be a sensible photographer to narrate a story without telling words. Because a photograph, an image is worth 1,000 words. So, with this, I end my today's session.